shoot. Alright, not do good, I guess. Greetings, everybody. This is Henry speaking. My name is Byron. On the road home here. My internet's been crapping out on the way home, but I thought I'd give it one more shot, see what happens today. So today's topic is Leviathan. I can't believe that the name never clicked before. I think part of the reason is, you know, when I'm working with a client and if an entity comes forward and, well, basically during a hypnosis session, when I get rid of entities, you know, I with the client's permission, the entity is allowed to take over the client's vocal cords so I can speak directly to the entity that is possessing a person in order to, you know, talk with it and get it to leave. And, you know, if it has a name, I really don't pay attention to names, because I guess subconsciously I think that gives the entity power. To me, it's just a thing that we need to deal with and get rid of. I've talked about this video. It's actually on my website. It's one of the 3 videos I have up on my website, www.soulharmonics.net. Is over Christmas at a client come to my mom's house when I was there for my Christmas vacation, and she had this entity in her. And when I you know, I can see these things. I saw this like long snake looking thing, and it had a monster's head to it. And you know, I'm not really busy dealing with what I see in the visuals. I'm focused on talking this thing and trying to get rid of it. And you know, the client, you know, called it Leviathan, and it just never clicked until today. I was watching Mud Fossil University, and he said the name Leviathan, and I went, wait a minute, is this the actual name of a creature? So then I Googled it. I'm like, oh my gosh, how could I forget? It's a biblical sea monster creature. And I'm looking at the images, and I'm like, oh my God, that thing is exactly what I saw in the person. It was truly phenomenal. I can't believe I never made the connection before. And the funny thing is, when we're trying to find a place for it to go, the first place it came up with was the ocean. And it still didn't click with me that I was, you know, dealing with a sea creature. Basically is what I was dealing with. And it had, around it had all these black things. I mean, they're probably like some kind of little sea snake creature thing. I mean, got rid of those first, and then finally got rid of the Leviathan, the sea monster thing. So basically call it an exorcism. So that is it's pretty wild for me to have confirmation that, you know, I never think I'm making stuff up, but it's pretty cool when you're able to match what you actually see with the, you know, the name that it was given, and that's just a real creature, and for it to be exactly what I saw, because, you know, here we are 4 months later and it still didn't click. And yeah, lo and behold, that's exactly what I saw inside the person. So it's kind of neat when things match up. Things don't always match up in sessions, because sometimes, especially, you know, in the past life regression part, people will be living a life, and not everybody lived a famous life, so there's not much to look up. But another confirmation I had is, you know, this person, you know, all of a sudden just had this heavy French accent, and she was, you know, in a time in the past, she's describing, you know, as winter and what the people were wearing, and, you know, what the town looked like, and the transportation, and you know, she's saying it's the anniversary in Nepal, you know, and you can't like stop and ask a lot of logical questions, because the person's using the, you know, the part of the brain that you use when you dream at night. And if I start asking what we call, you know, logical questions, they'll switch them to a different brainwave pattern to the other part of the brain, and then boom, they'll snap out. So it's a real fine line that we have to teeter and be careful of during session, not to stay in hypnotic state. But then after the person left the next day, I was really curious about this, and you know, Nepal sounds like Napoleon, so I started looking at Napoleon, and you know, of course, there's the, you know, Napoleon, the ruler of the world that we all know about. But what I didn't know is there's also Napoleon, who was the first president of France. And sure enough, he died in the wintertime, and just like this person has said, and turns out the people that lived in France, his nickname, they all called him Nepal. You know, of course, in English, you'd probably say name Paul, but she, you know, she said it correctly, Nepal. And sure, lo and behold, that was his name. So that was a pretty cool session too, to get confirmation that the person was in a past life and actually describing things. And this person doesn't have a French accent in real life. She doesn't speak French. So there's no reason for her to just all of a sudden go in this full-blown, heavy, authentic French accent. And, you know, it's not something that's going to happen, you know. And, you know, I've had clients start talking German in my sessions that they don't know German. You know, and other practitioners have clients that will start speaking in languages. And the cool thing is, you just ask the person speaking English, and they'll talk in English, but they'll talk with the heavy accent of the language that they're speaking. You know, so that was pretty cool. And you know, and I had a session where somebody was a dragon tamer, and I learned. For the longest time, I didn't believe in dragons, but after a couple of sessions and the kind of work I do, it's kind of undeniable. I had to begin to accept that dragons are real. And what I found interesting is that they didn't breathe fire. They breathe this electrical discharge, which, you know, like, so it burned. So the dragon would expel this electrical energy type of thing, and that's what people refer to as fire, and it would burn you and kill you. And what's interesting is the person wore this crinkly leather suit, because if the dragon did breathe on the person, the dragon tamer, well, in the way it was all crinkled up, he would electricity, and then it, you know, from further damage, is more like a bulletproof vest. It's not bulletproof. Bullets, you know, a rifle bullet can go through a bulletproof vest, but you know, you can still get hurt with this outfit that the dragon tamers, and some did get killed. A friend of his got killed, but it's pretty interesting to learn about, you know, that. And you know, I've had clients that never had a life in the past life regression. You're done with the life, and the person dies and moves on to the next life. Well, the whale died and like jumped in, I think it was a dolphin, and then from a dolphin it like became like a lobster. I mean, it kept jumping around to different sea life, you know. In that session, I was sitting there scratching my head going, what's going on? I couldn't believe that this soul was jumping from animal to animal creature. That was a pretty wild one too. Yeah, so you know, in these hypnosis sessions, you never know what to expect. I mean, you know, this one person went to the city of the archangels. I never been there, and I followed him there, and I actually could see more than he saw, because his higher self said he wasn't quite ready to accept who he was, and you know, and everything, so he couldn't see everything. But I was in a place where I was ready to see all that, so I could see it, and I saw just magnificent angels and beings and a beautiful city, and it was just really, really incredible. So there is no standard cookie cut you know, quantum healing hypnosis technique session, you know, because everybody's really unique, and you just never know who somebody's higher soul is. You know, it's and they don't know either. You know, they might have an inkling of who they are, but you know, you get them under hypnosis and find out who they really are. It's really, really wild stuff. I tell you, it's really wild. So, anyway, I just wanted to check in with everybody and say hello. I'm gonna be going out of town next week, so I'll be I'll probably check in. I'm gonna be going to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, where I'm going to the QHHT level 2 training. You have to do it in person. They don't let you do it online. So I'm gonna be flying out to Arkansas, spending the week there for training. Yeah, probably won't be a whole lot of activity on my new channel until I get back and get things rolling here. So anyway, till next time, everybody, God bless, peace, and be well.